What's good, NBA family? Today's Saturday, March 23rd, and we are back with another episode. We got a very familiar face in the building. My dog, the one and only Hot Take J408. My dog, what's the deal? How you doing today?
Ha! The one and only.
The one and
What I
only.
do on time. Yeah. Ready to talk some hoops, man. A lot of stuff going on. Playoffs cooking. We ready to go.
It's hey Jay, playoffs is right around the corner, Jay. You know, this is when basketball just becomes like must-watch TV every. I mean, in my
Life.
opinion, it's must-watch TV every night from the beginning of the season. But to the casual or to the people who maybe don't watch as much as we do, this is at the time where you got to tune into every game. Every
Mm-hmm.
game matters, Jay. That's how I feel right now, Jay. Turned up.
Juicy. Juicy. I mean, it's like I've never been so immersed in basketball. So like the way that I'm attacking it now, just trying to understand like the nuances of the game, diving into these analytics and stuff. And now, like I'm just ready. I'm ready for it all to like this is where it counts. So
What does that jacket say, Jay? Beautiful day to get buckets. Is that what it
oh,
says, right?
beautiful day to get buckets. It was not for me this morning, but
Come
it was
on,
not
Jay.
this morning, but
Jay, hey, I ain't gonna lie, Jay. You got to give yourself credit. I'm
no,
hoop with you, Jay. You be getting to
no,
it. You be
no,
getting to
stop it.
it.
But
All
yeah.
right, Jay. We got a jam-packed show today, Jay. We got a lot to get into. We got our winners and losers of the week. We got a rate our worry segment to where we're gonna get into really a whole lot of teams, playoff dilemmas we got coming up. We got who's most likely to, and just what I'm saying, some good basketball banter. So for the people out there, hope you guys are ready for this great show, man. Grab your popcorn, grab a water. What I'm saying, plug the headphones in, and let's get ready to talk some hoops. Again, today is Saturday, March 23rd, week 22 in the NBA. So we here getting up this recap. And Jay, let's go ahead and kick it off with winners and losers of the week. I know we usually put that at the end of the show, but a little change up for once, for the one time. So Jay, who's your winner of week 22 in the NBA? Or if you want to start with loser, up to you.
I got two standouts, but I'm real curious to see who you think is the biggest winner first. I'm gonna defer.
Okay, you ready for mine?
Shoot it up.
My winner is none other than Anthony Edwards for his dunk over John Collins. It happened on Monday, the 18th. It was the first day of week 22.
Nasty.
Bro, Jay, I ain't gonna lie. Dunk of the year, in my opinion. Dunk of the year. Man took one step in the paint, rose, went body to body with Collins, went over the contact, threw that thing down. He didn't Blake Griffin throw it in. Like, he really threw it down. And then Collins ended up getting a head contusion after it, which is the craziest, most disrespectful thing of all time. Dunk of the year has got to be the winner of the week for me.
Do you remember when because it was like almost like John Collins, like the momentum from their impact like pushed him up almost even further, right? Yep. I remember Vince Carter getting one like that off on somebody. I don't know if it was Alonzo Mourning.
It was
who.
Alonzo Mourning when he just cocked it back. Yeah, when he cocked it back and boom, threw that thing. Yes.
I thought that was before your time. I didn't know you would remember
that was on
one.
Alonzo when he went body to body first and then bow. That probably was before my time, Jay, but you know me, I'm a historian. I love the game. Went back and got to see that. But
it's crazy. It's infectious. So when you say winner of the week, damn, it may be even the Timberwolves because, with losing Cat, seeing how they're reacting to it and just like there's a few players like Steph and his three in those moments where it's demoralizing, but it's also infectious for your team. Like Ant it was like, dude, he has those Superman moments, right? The block the other week. And it's just like, man, if I saw that and you're riding with him, it's like,
how can you
everybody's getting
how can you not be so turned up?
Yeah. So for sure.
What about you, Jay? Who's your winner?
I was I was torn between the Rockets and the Mavs. Like I'm gonna probably give the Rockets some shine. And they them winning 7 straight and them like their talent base is so thick right now, just young potential, just oozing out the roster. So them winning 7 straight, them having a Jalen Green problem to one of them good Jalen Green problems to where they can figure it out, like their adversity playing without Şengün and finding a new stride because they have a little template going where it's not going to look exactly the same as the Nuggets, but Şengün's savvy, creativity, Euro swag, comparable to Jokic. Like he's not gonna. I think he's going to be better than Sabonis. Maybe not quite as good as Jokic is. Like that's somewhere where his I would put his projection at. But then you factor in the growth that they're getting from Jalen Green, Cam Whitmore, and they're doing it without Tari Eason, one of my favorites. And so it is looking bright in Houston, and wherever they land, even if it's outside of the play-in, their stars pointing up for sure.
So no more Houston. We have a problem. No more.
One of them good problems.
One of them good problems. Okay.
Yeah,
All right, Jay.
yeah.
I like your winner. And my loser of the week, Jay, is none other than probably going to catch a lot of people by surprise because I had to do some research for this. Sharif Abdul Rahim. You know why he's my loser of the week, Jay?
Expound.
So he's the president of the G League. And
Okay.
I don't know if you heard, but the G League Ignite is actually going to be shutting down after March 28th. So a couple of days coming up here, they're going to be done. So they had a cool, 3 or 4 year run. And they're going to be shutting down because the whole, financial aspect, like that's not really a holdup for players anymore. Because when they made it, NIL wasn't around, so you could either go to college and basically, get robbed. That's what colleges were doing to people before NIL, or you can go to this, G League Ignite and get paid to hoop or whatnot. And some players went through it. Kuminga, Jalen Green. Isaiah Todd, those are some players that are, in the league that went through it. And now the program's getting shut down really basically because of NIL, because what player wouldn't want to go to college, get the college experience and get paid? So everyone's just going the college route again because of that. But that is my loser of the week, because I'm sure there's some stresses going on in his life right now, having to pivot that whole program that he built.
Yeah. That's a good one. I heard some of the rumblings in the grapevine with the G League Ignite, not necessarily having a future, but I didn't know that was official, and so I haven't paid as much attention to how, like as I immerse myself more in hoops, going to summer league in Vegas and stuff, starting to pay a little bit more attention to the different paths that the players take. I'm sure it's affecting some folks, but when something shuts down, it's new opportunity elsewhere. So now my loser, no individual player, I'm just collectively the Phoenix Suns. This situation is bad, and the biggest problem that jumps out, if I was to just keep it concise, is I don't even think that they have hope to win anymore. It's one thing to lose in the second round or the Western Conference Finals and let's go retool, but they're tapped out. They spent everything on the credit card. And when I look at them, they're their record, where are they at right now?
I believe they're in the 7th seed,
41-29.
Yep.
But their defense is trending in the wrong direction. They're 14th, 15th in the league in defense. The last couple weeks, it's 23rd, 24th. And they're just giving up the draws on defense consistently. And we haven't even factored in, the last 10 game stretch. I was sitting there looking at it and I was just let me go back to it. Okay, so they got two games at San Antonio. But after that, it's at Denver, at OKC, at New Orleans. They play Cleveland at home, Minnesota at home, New Orleans at home, 2 games against the Clippers, Sacramento, and then Minnesota. They're in dogfights with all of these teams, all of them, other than the San Antonio. This is, and where are they at right now already in the standings? They're 7th
seed.
Yeah, they might be the 9th or 10th by the time that's over. This is not looking good. And then what do? When you get in there and when they get in the offseason after they get bounced in the first round and all your money spent on the credit card, all you have is undrafted players and vet minimum signings.
Where do you
bad,
go?
bro.
It's like, yeah,
Bad.
it's where do you go? Where do you go? Where can you go, Jay, besides your original take on it? Your original take on it was the fact that Bradley Beal's trade was wackadoodle-doo. And funny enough, Jay, because I don't know what program you majored in when you went to SBC, but I did media and broadcasting, and our guy Howard Beck, which we've actually had on the show, he's like a little assignment for us was for us to write on the Bradley Beal trade. And I wrote the fact that, like, yeah, I mean, you know, you have these three stars, but it's just an extremely top heavy team, and you're not really going to be able to go anywhere or sign anyone outside of those guys that can actually provide value come playoffs. And both looks like what I'm saying and what you said, Jay, about this Suns team is prevailing, because they have literally the hardest schedule left in the NBA.
They do,
with four back-to-back still left to come.
Yeah.
So
it's not even close. And
they're in a tough spot, Jay.
The question is, first off, Bradley Beal may be a star in name only. He's not a star on the court. And I mean, it's hard questions, but it's hard truths. And so, yeah, it's going to get ugly. And I've been calling for it for a minute, and I'll just put my little plug in. When they're going to have hard questions around Grayson Allen pressing them because he's having a career year. And then Royce O'Neal's they're gonna feel compelled to re-sign him, and they sign him for $10 million. That means they're paying like $30-40 million in luxury tax just off of that 1 year. So it's all bad. But the question here, and I'll just fast forward to it, is when they realize they have no hope, they're gonna have to. Somebody's gonna ask. They're gonna look in the room, elephant in the room. Is it time to consider trading KD? And if so, where? Like, that might actually happen this offseason, that conversation. I'm not saying it's going to happen. The conversation is going to happen. Whether it actually makes it into the, onto the internet and whatever. So that's my long shot favorite is the Thunder, by the way. I think the Thunder can make it happen, but go ahead.
No, and I mean that I'm down to get into it, but that's a rabbit hole within itself. Because I mean, like,
it is. I'm seasoned. I just wanted to get it on wax.
What does Devin Booker say to that? Devin Booker's like, well, then what's the return? Because I'm not going to sit here and continue to waste my career like I did in the beginning of my career. He already went through the bad stages when the Phoenix Suns absolutely were dog poop. So, I mean, that's just a rabbit hole within itself.
It is. But we can tackle that another day.
Okay. All right, Jay. Let's get to our first segment of the show here. Well, I guess those winners and losers. Let me not downplay winners and losers. That's the first segment. So the second segment of the show here, Jay, and that's rate your worry. So Jay, I have a couple of statements here, and for the family out there, I have some statements. I want you guys to tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, where is your worry? 1 being I'm not even tripping, 10 being like SOS. I need some help, man. So let's get into it, Jay. First statement that I have here for you is rate your worry on the Cleveland Cavaliers injury and how it will affect them come playoffs.
Okay, so measurable, are we talking 1 out of 10? What are we
1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. Yep. 1 out of 10, Jay.
I'm gonna put my worry on them up against my expectations for them, right? Okay. So if I expect them to get to the second round of the playoffs and compete, have some serious action at making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, then my worry is at like a 4. Like it's not maybe even a little lower. Looks like Strus is day-to-day. Don Mitchell, the nasal fracture, again, it's not impacting his body, his ability to perform on the court. So once his sinuses is all right, Mobley's in a walking boot, looks like, but overall, based off of Garland and Mobley's youth, and the only thing that is putting pressure on their timeline is Donovan Mitchell after this year will be going into the last year of his deal, talking extension. So I don't whether they make it in the second round or Eastern Conference Finals, I don't think their injury situation is too effective.
Really, Jay? No, I ain't gonna lie. I'm on another. So you're at a 4? You're at a 4?
I'm at a 4.
All right. Go ahead, double that and give it to me, Jay. I'm at an 8. All right. I'm at an 8. And the reason why I'm at an 8 is because they've been riddled with injuries all season long, Jay. I mean, they have
Yeah.
8 different lineups with 112 possessions or more. And shout out cleaning the glass for that great stat. And that right there just proves to you and the people out there listening, just shows you how many different lineups they've had to run for an extensive amount of time. Because I mean, like I said, 8 different lineups with 112 possessions or more just shows that injuries just been riddling them all seasons long. You said it earlier about their current injuries. Max Strus is out with a knee injury. Donovan Mitchell is out with a fractured nose. Mobley's out with the ankle, and Dean Wade is out with the knee. Now, I ain't no doctor, Jay, and Brian Windhorst is also not a doctor. I believe I said his name right. The guy from ESPN, you know what I'm talking about, right? So that guy, he came out with a report that said Donovan Mitchell's fractured nose injury usually takes anywhere from weeks to months of rest for him to be able to fully recover. So reports came out that the Cavs gave him a PRP injection. I had to do some research on this, Jay. So what a PRP injection is I guess it uses the player's own blood cells to help them speed up the healing process. Couldn't explain it in any other way besides that. I just Googled it and that's what it was. So that's pretty concerning, Jay. I mean, to me, that's pretty concerning. The Cavs as an organization thought, all right, well, we need to give Donovan Mitchell to speed up this healing process. But because, like how we said at the beginning of the pod, playoffs are right around the corner. And if Donovan Mitchell is not fully there, this is a absolutely from top to bottom totally different team. Also, if Evan Mobley and Max Strus is not there, Jay, and when I say there, I mean they're and fully healthy. This team does not reach their full potential because Evan Mobley, we know the defense he brings. He's an absolute game changer, not only in the paint, but also in the perimeter. Max Strus, he is their shooter. He's their shooter. He's their wing, Jay.
Okay, right. No, let me ask you this, though. What is your expectation when you say that this could be like a catastrophic ending, or like this is a big deal? All this stuff is a big deal, right? All these injuries. What is your expectation? Like, what do they have to lose? Where do you think they're going to go? And what do you think they have to lose by not getting there?
So, the way that I originally posed the question was like, how will this affect their playoff run, period, right? Whether pushed up against expectations or not. But if you want me to answer expectations, I mean, this team should make it to the second round at least, or past the second round, in my opinion. I mean, after what happened last year, after getting embarrassed last year, you come back, in the limited time that these stars and the starters have had together, they've put together a good run, and they've stayed top of the league, partially because Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen just been playing like absolutely out of their minds. So
a competitive second round team is what you would say, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And they don't get there with everything that I named. If Donovan Mitchell isn't fully there, if Max Strus isn't fully there, if Evan Mobley isn't fully there.
Yeah, I hear you. But and the nose, I would assume it's going to affect his stamina and his rhythm. Yeah. But at least I'm just looking at it like at least he's not physically
like a leg, like his leg,
his extremity. Yeah. So, and then when I look at it too, I just this team, even when they're optimal, I hate the your turn, my turn. We have not seen Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell play on fire, their best version of themselves at the same time. And I'm arguing that we're not going to throughout this whole postseason. So I guess my expectations were considerably lower. Like, I think that they have a ceiling in the second round. So
Okay. All right, Jay. So Jay's at a 4 with his worry. I'm at an 8. I'm just concerned because I just think, without your literal best player and then your defensive anchor, or I guess, if you want to say Jared Allen's their defensive anchor, whatever. I mean, you could switch up between them and Mobley, and then especially even losing Strus, Jay, because I mean, I feel like last year that was what they were missing, right? They were missing that wing who can shoot, who can also go get a bucket. They added him. So now if they miss him again come playoffs, very concerning. But Jay, let me go ahead and get to my next Rate Your Worry. And that is about a team that I was high on and you were low on, the little brothers of the Los Angeles Lakers. It's the Los Angeles Clippers, man. Their recent struggles, Jay. Rate your worry on the recent struggles for the Clippers, 1 to 10. How high or how low are you?
I guess my worry goes back to what my original expectations are for them. And considering I think that they're a second round playoff team.
Hold on. Wasn't it last episode, Jay, that both me and you said they should make it to the Western Conference Finals?
Yes. That's the consensus expectation, right? My personal expectation is that they're at high risk to lose in the second round. Right. That's where I'm lower than where everybody else. That $200 million payroll that Steve Ballmer is signing checks for, and the extra 200+ million check that he's writing for luxury tax penalties, like that says you guys need to be competitive in the Western Conference Finals. I look at them as a flawed team, even with Zubac killing, and they're getting out rebounded consistently every night. Their defensive rebounds are mid. They're old in general. And I just, I don't, they can't, their best version is small ball. And I think that their version of small ball still gets smoked out by probably OKC. And I just don't think that they quite frankly have a chance against Jokic. So their hot streak, they started out slow, got crazy red hot, and then have toned down. I'm like, this is the war of attrition, man. It's a long regular season. They're in the dog days. They're going to get exposed and start taking nights off, which you know what they do collectively and individually. And so my worry relative to their expectations, a 3, a 4, is because I know where their season ends. So, and this ain't, this is only reaffirming where I knew they were.
Okay. All right, Jay. So I'm higher on the worry scale as well. Also because about a month or so ago, I was saying this team has the possibility of going to the finals and representing the West. So, which makes me look kind of crazy, but it's all good. I'll stand on it. So I'm at a 7, Jay. That's where I'm at in the worry scale. And the reason why I'm at a 7 is because, look, in their last 10 games, they're 5-5, and they're averaging 108 points per game. Really quick, for reference, the Washington Wizards are averaging 113 points per game as of right now. So that should tell you, they're in the last 10 games, they've been playing worse than the Wizards have. So that's very concerning. What's also really concerning, Jay, is when you look at the teams that they have lost to in that stretch. Check this out. The Pelicans, the Nuggets, the Mavericks, the Knicks, and the Lakers. All 5 of those teams that I just listed, Jay, those are all play-in/playoff teams. So that's who you need to be comparing yourself to. So when they went on that crazy run, which I believe was early December, when they had only lost 2 games in an entire month, I was very high on them. And that's when I was saying, yo, check this out, man. They're playing very well. They're moving the ball. They got the dominoes in order here. They figured it out who's their go-to guy, who's 1, 2, 3, or 4. But they're beating a lot of bad teams in that stretch. And now, like I said, in that 5-game stretch, you end up losing to Pelicans, losing to Nuggets, losing to Mavs, losing to Knicks, losing to Lakers. These are all teams.
Didn't they lose to the Hawks?
And that they probably did lose to the Hawks recently. I'm not gonna lie.
March 17th, 93 to 110, lost to the Hawks. How you lose to the Hawks right now?
Man, my Lakers got a big dub on them. We got by 30 piece. So
yeah.
But so I'm at a 7, and the only reason why I'm not higher than a 7, Jay, is because at the end of the day, they got that man, the robot, Kawhi Leonard, and he's been healthy. So they haven't been getting it together in this last 10 games. But at the end of the day, you have Kawhi Leonard, and if you have that man, you have a chance.
Touche.
Nothing to add to that, Jay? Nothing to add?
No, I think that the Clippers, like I said, they are who you just said that they were, and they're a volatile team, but I withhold all judgments until they get to the second round of the playoffs. And I'm just curious. This is a huge year for James Harden, and the rest of his career is going to be dictated in this postseason. So Kawhi is a robot and a machine, but he's a broken machine sometimes too, and he's older. So, but when he's out there doing it, he still does it. Awesome. He's still killing when he's out there, lubricated and ready to go. So
whoa, Jay, lubricated is insane.
pause.
Lubricated is insane. But nah, I'm right there with you,
But
though,
hey,
dog.
man, you don't know nothing about that. We're talking about 25 to 42. I just had my 42nd birthday, man. When you talking,
Happy birthday, Jay,
hey,
man.
bro, let me tell you something about going to the gym, playing for 20 minutes just to get warm, having a peak hard 8 minutes to give, and then you spent your turbo spent, you got nothing left.
Oh, man.
We'll have this conversation about 10 years, bro.
We'll have that conversation, Jay. I'm trying to stay in the gym. I'm trying to stay in shape, Jay. I'm trying to
It
stay
don't
in
matter.
shape.
The father time is undefeated, bro. It don't
That is
matter.
true. That is true. It's even catching our boy Brian. So if it's catching him, I can't get away from it. But just real quick, Jay, happy birthday to you, my brother. No, it was belated, but happy brother. And for everybody out there, man, wish my boy Jay a happy birthday. But all right, Jay, let's go ahead and keep it pushing. Rate your worry. I'm really excited to get into this one. I have a lot to say about this one, Jay. Rate your worry for how much the Oklahoma City Thunder's inexperience will actually truly hurt them come playoffs.
Actually, on this one, I'll go with a 9 or a 10. I believe that this is damn near my only issue with what they're going to see, and it specifically relates to the fastball, the tip of the spear. Everything is predicated on Shea and the 1A attention that he's going to get, and I don't expect him. It's going to be mitigated in some form or fashion. Teams are going to throw. They're going to get to see him 5, 6, 7 games in a row, and the refs might swallow the whistle a little bit here and there, and he's going to have to get acclimated to that. But more importantly, the rest of the team who eats off of what SGA does first is going to be impacted collectively as well. So I am worried about that as much as almost as much as I am Chet being the only legit 7-footer, the only dude with true length out there, but more so their experience is nobody else on that team has the stripes yet. So although J-Dub ain't the one to be played with, and I think his huevos and his gall and he don't know any better to not do what he does. So but overall that will be their demise. And
Jay, I really like this episode so far because we ain't had no agreements yet. No agreeing on nothing. You know, I got my side, you got your side. So for the family out there, man, I hope you guys are enjoying this episode. It is always so much fun to record with you, Jay. But here's what I got with it, because I'm actually again on the opposite side of you. You're at a 9. I'm actually at a 4. And I think that people are way overplaying this whole inexperienced thing come playoffs. And let me tell you why, okay? Because as far as like players on this team that has playoff experience, it's Shea, it's Lou Dort, it's Isaiah Joe, and it's Gordon Hayward. Okay. Lou Dort locked up Harden in that bubble series in the playoffs. Okay.
I'll give him
Shea, he has playoff experience. Maybe not playoff experience as the number 1 guy, but he was an important part of that team that was in the
and didn't play too well in the playoffs either. But go ahead.
Still got the experience though, right? He's not like he's naked butt going out there just figuring it out, right? Gordon Hayward, he was how does he not count? He was on the Celtics teams that made those deep playoff runs.
When you're the 9th, 10th man, like what is it? How much impact is he finna have? Like him talking in the locker room, gaming them up.
That's like saying vets don't matter, Jay.
There's a spectrum of how big of a contributor you are. Like I'm not gonna put him in a Udonis Haslem role, but
he produces more than Udonis Haslem does on the court.
Yeah, he does, and that's why I'm not going to be all egregious with it. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Gordon Hayward. What I'm saying is he's new to the system, and and if they need to take out Giddey and put him in, he should be serviceable and get the job done. But I mean, how much real impact do you expect him and Isaiah Joe to have? Their playoff experience ain't changed. It's not like some battle-tested OG coming in here who's actually still playing 15, 20 minutes a game. Like,
but I feel okay. I'll give you that for Isaiah Joe, but I cannot accept that for Gordon Hayward, because then if that's the case, then you could say that about literally any other vet that just rides the bench. Because
what do you expect him to do when they're whether it's
mindset
rotations or whether it's
I'm talking about a mindset. I'm talking about an OG who could pull a youngin in. Yo, come here, bro. Come here. Tim Legler. Yes, because he's the OG of that team. Is he or is he not the OG of that team?
I don't speak to his personality or his leadership style or his like. I'm sorry. I'm not saying he's not. Like, I don't know what I don't know, but I know what I see, and I don't strike him as the one to really impact that locker room. Now,
until he gets put in a moment to.
If you would have told me there was somebody with some edge, like Isaiah Stewart, or somebody with some real, like even a Kevin Love, I would buy, because he's been through some deeper playoff runs, but not Gordon Hayward. We'll agree to disagree. I want you to finish your take, please.
All right. So, like I was so we'll take out Isaiah Joe. I'm still keeping Shea, Dort, and Gordon Hayward. Those are three guys that at least have some type of playoff experience. And then also, this team has so much talent. Like I think, no joke, Jay, like this might be the most talented team in the NBA. We're talking just straight talent, right? This might be the most talented team in the NBA. And I think that the way that they play together mixed with their talent can overcome this inexperience that they have. And it all starts with Shea, right? The man right now has quite literally no holes in his game. Since post All-Star break, 50, 40, 90. For the people out there who don't know what that means, it means he's shooting at least 50% or better from the field, 40% or better from the three-point line, and 90% or better from the free throw line. So post All-Star break, he's putting up those ridiculous numbers. And I think what's going to help Shea and the Thunder most come playoffs, Jay, is the fact that Shea has a counter to literally everything you throw to him. If whatever a defense throws to him, he has a counter for. And his game, I think, is going to correlate great come playoffs, because that's what playoffs is. There's a whole bunch of different defensive schemes, a whole bunch of different lineups, and you're just seeing different players on you, different matchups. And I think Shea's going to be able to have a counter to all that. And when I say that the Thunder play well, Jay, here's what I mean. I mean, like, everyone knows their role, but it also meshes in together well. Some stats for that is, look at that. Like, Oklahoma City Thunder right now, they're the number 1 team in drives per game. They're the number 3 team in field goal percentage on those drives. They're the number 1 team in the NBA for free throw attempts on those drives. And then on top of that, Jay, they're the number 1 team in the NBA in 3-point percentage. It's very hard to defend teams that drive and kick successfully, because when you have a player like Shea and he blows by your primary defender, you have no choice but to bring the help side. And when you bring that help side, Jay, you know what you got? Let me finish this up real quick. You know what you got? When you bring that help side, you got Jalen Williams, who's shooting 45% from the three-point line. Gordon Hayward, who's shooting 40% from the three-point line. Lou Dort, who's shooting 41% from the three-point line. Chet, who's shooting 39. Isaiah Joe, who's shooting 41. Casey Wallace, who's shooting 42. So what I will say is this, Jay. With that, all that being said, I don't think that the playoff inexperience will be their downfall, which is why I'm at a 4 on the question of rate my worry about their playoff inexperience. But I do think their downfall will be the lack of a true big. Right now, they're 28th in the league for total rebounds per game, and we see that is their weak link, and that, I think, is what's going to get exposed come playoffs. We're talking about second chance points. We're talking about just Chet not being able to clean up the glass, and we know that that's big in the NBA. So, Jay, I say all that to say I'm not very worried about their so-called inexperience. I think people are overplaying it, and they don't really look, because I deep dove into this, Jay, as you can see with my stats, with my facts, and bringing up everything I brought up. I deep dove into it, and when you deep dive, in my opinion, I think this little narrative of playoff inexperience goes away, in my opinion.
So there's one inflection point that everything else was predicated off of that you glossed over a little too fast, in my opinion, right? Shea's counter, he can do this, he can do that. And when I thoroughly expect them to mop up I'm going to say whoever they see in the first round, it could be the Lakers or the Warriors or something. So I don't want to just, sweep them into the second round or 4-1 or something like that. But I do expect them to make it to the second round of the playoffs. So let's say that team is Minnesota, right? Top tier defense, top tier rotations, talent. Anthony Edwards has some juice on the ball. Jaden McDaniels is not playing around, and all flanked by Rudy Gobert, right? So let's say they're seeing this team theoretically 7 games in a row, and then the refs start swallowing the whistle a little bit, and the calls SGA has been getting all year, that percentage of the calls that he's expecting comes down. Maybe it cuts in half, but maybe not that much, right? So their efficiency for him to not be getting these calls allows the defense to not cheat off of the laundry list of 40-point three-point shooters you just gave off so eloquently, right? So that efficiency, the level of contested shots these open three-point shooters are getting, all of it is cut off before it even starts to really happen. And then they hit a little adversity, cheeks get tight. Well, what are we going to do? We're ranked the number 1 team in the West or the number 2 team in the West. And all of a sudden we're down 2-0. And how are we going to react to this? Damn refs ain't giving us the calls we've been getting all year. Why would this shit don't make no sense? And like, it snowballs, bro. It's a cascading effect. So that's where the inexperience is going to come into play. Like, how do you persevere out of this?
That's where the vets come in. The Gordon Haywards.
No.
Yes.
No. Let me ask you this. Do you think it's a higher probability that Gordon Hayward is going to provide some leadership, not on encore, like whatever it is you say he's going to bring? Or my opinion is that J-Dub's going to come out here and say, you guys want to sell out? You guys want to cheat? You guys want to do whatever you guys want to do to SGA? It's my time. And I'm going to come out here and I'm going to make you pay for giving too much attention to SGA. And I don't care. Like, the world needs to know who I am. Just the same way Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell went at it in the playoffs. I think J-Dub is laying in the cut and he is ready to go. So between him and how Chet really holds up, those are, when you say OKC comes out of that because SGA is just, they got the load on him, like they are throwing the house at him. Those 2 players, and particularly J-Dub, that's who I'm putting my stock in. If it happens and they get to the Western Conference Finals and they give Denver a run for their money, it's because J-Dub picked up some of the slack because SGA was just getting the house thrown at him.
Yeah, SGA will absolutely get the house thrown at him. And to your point, like, I do think it's more realistic that J-Dub will come out than Gordon Hayward, but I wasn't saying Gordon Hayward is going to be an on-court presence.
Just
I'm saying like, if to your example, let's say Oklahoma City Thunder goes down 2-0 to the Timberwolves, and the refs are blowing the whistle and they're getting frustrated. That's when I'm saying a vet comes in, wraps his arm around Shea, like, yo, dog, like, this side of game go, dog. Like, you can't be caught up on these little calls. You're gonna have to figure it out. It's the next game mentality. And I know it sounds so simple, but these vets will come out, and I think just conversation like that would make a difference. But I don't even think that, like, I'm not saying all this to back up the Oklahoma City Thunder saying that they're going to make it to the Western Conference Finals. Like I said when I finished my little spiel, I think their biggest downfall is going to be their the big man. Like you were saying, if the Oklahoma City Thunder messed around and got the Lakers in the first round, I'm not saying as a Lakers fan, bro, but there's a good chance Oklahoma City Thunder loses that, because their biggest issue is our biggest strong suit. Anthony Davis is our number 1 player we're going to go to in that series. They have the hardest time guarding Anthony Davis or guarding those bigs because they don't have a true one. So that's my thing. Like, I'm just not buying into the narrative, and I just want to, at least, on our platform, say, yo, in my opinion,
get it out there.
It's fake about the playoff and experience. So I think they well not fake because they don't have besides Dort, Isaiah Joe and Gordon Hayward and Shea, they have no playoff experience on the other players. But I just think that their talent and the way they play together, I mentioned, can overcome all that. So that's where I'm at with
Has
that.
Has a chance to for sure.
That's where I'm at with that, Jay. But all right, Jay, let's keep it pushing. And for the family out there, man, y'all let us know how y'all feeling about this in the comment section down below, man. Y'all let us know. John, are you tripping? Am I tripping?
Just a little bit.
Oh man, come on, family. Let me know. I don't think so, man. Family, I did a lot of work on this, family. This is a whole lot of stats and me deep diving, man. So I really don't think so. But only time will tell. But all right, Jay, let's keep it pushing. Let's get to our next Rate Your Worry. So the 76ers currently sit in the 8th seed. They're 4 games ahead of the 9th seed, which is the Chicago Bulls. So most likely they will for sure be in a play-in situation. But my question to you is, rate your worry on the 76ers actually having some real true playoff chances?
I guess for the sake of playing along, I'm going to say a 10. But really, everybody gets caught up in prisoner of the moment. Prisoner of the moment is the word that I think of when I see Joel Embiid, because I was sitting there thinking out the box as to what I would do if I was in Philly's situation, if I was working in the front office or something. And the taboo thing is like, I'm looking at who is the highest bidder for Joel Embiid? Like, wow. The hard question is, are we ready to consider trading him? But then they got out to this super hot start. Joel is killing the league. 30, absolutely murdering the league 30 games in. And Tyrese Maxey is like yin yang.
I'm here.
Co-writer. And everybody was like, Philly. And I'm like, bruh is 30 years old. Bruh is like, there's this word, I heard it on another podcast. My man, Nate Duncan, he goes, his economy of motion. And economy of motion is like how effortless and how graceful you move. Like how, can you take a fall in stride? Like, how sliders or whoever, can you learn how to fall the right way type of thing?
Like a soccer player.
Yeah, yes. And Joel Embiid does none of that.
Yeah.
None of that, right? And I'm like, he's always a 3-second play away from his season being at risk. And I'm like, he's got 2, maybe 3 years of peak MVP type of production. This is not like he's going to be hooping at 38, 39 years old. It's not. So I don't care how old Tyrese Maxey is and that he's got a good 10, 12 years of being a borderline all-star player. Like, the only thing that's important is the next 2 to 3 years, because once Joel Embiid falls off, then they're cooked collectively. And so up against my expectation, nah. My real true worry is a 2, because I already know that they're going to be dealing with this up and down stuff that they're dealing with. And they're never gonna win 16 games in the postseason being as reliant as they are on Joel Embiid. So really, I'm at a 2. But compared to what their expectations were, everybody was feeling him the first 30 games of the season. Man, it's at a 10, because that ain't happening, partner. That ain't happening.
I almost made a video. Like I had all like the stats and all the highlights up for this Joel Embiid, why he's the MVP of the league video, when he was dominating. And then literally the next day he went off for that 70-point game or whatnot.
That's why you went off on me on that shade topic and saying dude could get hurt the next day, and I put in all this work, and now we got to get out the video, man. Yes, now it comes out. It comes out.
Now it comes out, Jay. I hate when something like that happens. But now, Jay, honestly, look, man, maybe I didn't really phrase the question because I know you said you're at a 2. I'm at a 10 with my worry as their playoff chances, because I'm so worried about them come playoffs. Because look, I mean, Joel Embiid, he's missed 23 games due to that surgery he had to repair his meniscus on his left injury. He went through surgery on February 6th. He continues to this day. Okay, this is reports from literally last night, March 22nd. Today is March 23rd. He continues to be limited to non-contact and only walk-through workouts. He hopes to ramp up for game action once April comes around. Those two sentences don't even make sense. Okay, like those two sentences don't even make sense. Putting them right back to back, because you're mean to tell me he's still to this day, March 23rd, limited to non-contact and walkthroughs, and now literally the next sentence you're gonna tell me he hopes to be ramped up come April. April is right around the corner. What are you talking about?
What is it, the 23rd?
Yes. How would he be ready for game action come April when he's not even doing contact with his own teammates in practice? So that's concerning within itself. But the reason why I don't think they have any playoff chances is because, one, Joel Embiid can't stay healthy. But even if he does stay healthy, like, this team just isn't good enough to get to where they want to get to or win anything meaningful. Like, even without even with Tyrese Maxey there, like, Tyrese Maxey is that guy. I'm not trying to knock Tyrese Maxey, but he's just not enough to help them win anything meaningful.
Where were you 20 games into the season when he was killing? Because to me, it was like if you're, to be clear on my perspective, if you are expecting the 76ers to get to the Eastern Conference Finals and have serious action at being a title contender, then my worry's a 10, because that's not going to happen. But the thing is that his injury history has been volatile from the jump. So, like, to think that he was like, this is not a surprise. And you're right, that talent is barren, but behind him and Tyrese Maxey, like, they have to spend that free agency money. Like, this is not a surprise. People are acting surprised, and that's the thing that gets on my nerves. Like,
okay, so look, so to answer your question, when Joel Embiid was dominating and Tyrese Maxey was
20
dominating
games into the season, talk to me. Where were you?
I had them as being at least a finals contender, right? At least be able to possibly make it out of the East. And if Joel Embiid was still playing at that level that he was at earlier in the season, and Tyrese Maxey continues to play at the level he's been at all season, I still would have him as championship favorites, even with the talent being super low outside of Tyrese and Joel Embiid. But that's because of how dominant Joel Embiid was.
They were, but do you bake in the career trajectory and how volatile this is, and it's just he's about to crap out right now?
I can't, Jay. That's not even fair, because then, like, Jay, brother, I can't assume injury until it actually happens.
What?
Right? I can't assume injury. Look at Anthony Davis. You could assume injury for Anthony Davis for every single year in his career.
I agree. That's why if I was the owner, he would be bad money and I would trade him. Like, I'm not betting on you to make it 16 wins in the postseason. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Okay, but Anthony Davis just damn near is making 82 game season. The man's only missed like 8 games so far this season.
The only season he closed out strong was the season where COVID and some worldwide once in a generation pandemic happened. He got to take a 3-month break, and then they suited
up. So did everybody else.
But it was more like their injury history, their temperament, everything. They needed that break. They benefited from it probably more than most, just based off of LeBron's age and AD. That's a separate conversation. Yes. That actually predates our relationship. So if you want to put that on the calendar and dive into that on a future date when we're in the summer, we can have at it.
Yes. Yes. I love talking about that 2020 team. Yes, Jay. I love that. But look, what I'll say is this. So when they were dominant with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, I had them as at least championship contenders, and I will stand on it. If they had Joel Embiid and he continued to play the way he was playing, I still would have them as championship contenders because the floor just opened up so much because Joel Embiid was literally demanding triple teams. But that's not the case. So I don't want to talk about something that's a fantasy. What is the case is the fact that Joel Embiid has been out for 23 games. And in those 23 games, yes, Tyrese Maxey's been out some of those games as well. Their record has been 9-14 in those 23 games. So no, I absolutely have no hope for this team because like I started this little spiel, even after Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, they're just they're just not good enough to win anything meaningful. And then let's say Joel Embiid does return. Let's say that these little reports that the 76ers put out weren't lying, and he ramps up come April. He's not in rhythm. He's not in rhythm. The man has been doing non-contact up until now, and then in a couple of months, in a couple of weeks here, when it turns April, he's going to be ready to go. Yeah, man's not in rhythm. I'm very about their playoff chances.
Rhythm, trusting your knee, or whatever, whatever he's got going on. That's a whole nother level. And I'm with you. And it's like, I think a very realistic scenario is they're going to be the 8th seed. So Miami beats them in the play-in. Then they have to play either the Bulls or the Hawks to lock down the 8th seed, right? So then they beat they beat the Bulls or they beat the Hawks. They lock into the 8th seed, and then what? Congratulations, your prize.
The Boston Celtics. Yeah. But Jay, that was a great transition, Jay. Talking about the 8th seed, talking about the 7th seed. Let's get to our next segment of the show here, and that is a who is most likely to segment. I have some statements here, Jay, and for the family out there, got some statements up on here. And if you're on YouTube, you do see the visuals. We got the visuals up on here, and for the podcast listeners, we got y'all taken care of. Don't worry about that. That's always the audio. But Jay, who is most likely to finish as the 7th and 8th seed for both the West and the East? So this could be a little bit of a long, intricate conversation.
I don't think it's so long for the East. I think that for all the reasons we just stated above, Miami should handle business against Philly in the play-in, that first game, and lock in the 7th seed. And with the records, Tyrese Halliburton, I'm so glad after he slapped the Warriors last night, is looking like the pre-hamstring Tyrese Halliburton. So I'm really happy to see that. I think Miami's going to be locked in. We'll try to put the records up as we edit the video, but both of them are 38 and 32 right now. There's a gap between the 8th and 9th where the Bulls and the Hawks are just kind of locked into that 9th and 10th seed. So, Philly's going to get that 8th seed, and
all right,
and then have to play Boston. I don't know. You see it different?
So you think Philly's going to get the 8th seed? You think Miami's going to get the 7th seed, right? Yeah, I agree with you. Because of Philly's very tough road heavy schedule that they have left, they have 14 road games left, and they are 5-9 on the road without Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's not going to be there. So,
to be honest, we might be giving him a little too much love, because if Joel is a shell of himself or not there, now these Bulls, as much as I've pounded the Bulls,
no way.
Yeah,
the it's Bulls like 4 games. You think so? You think they could catch up to the 76ers?
No. I think that Philly will. So if Philly loses to Miami for the 7th seed, then they get to play the winner.
Oh, I hear what you're saying.
They get to play the winner of the Hawks or the Bulls.
Okay.
Right? And I think that if Joel Embiid ain't there, or even a shell of himself, then all bets are off. Philly can lose to Chicago or Atlanta. Am I wrong? Am I misreading?
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not wrong at all. You're not wrong at all. I wasn't following. But yeah, I'm right there with you, Jay. Think that the Heat will be that 7th seed because of all the reasons you stated. And then also, Jay, shout out cleaning the glass. When the 76ers don't have Joel Embiid, they're averaging 108 points per game. For reference, the Spurs average 112. The Spurs average 112, Jay. Jay, I need to repeat that for the people out there, Jay. They average 100. The 76ers are averaging 108 points per game without Joel Embiid. The Spurs are averaging 112 points per game. Come on, man.
See, that's the thing here. I'm gonna do. We're gonna have to edit the Philly rant, because, like I said, it's kind of spread out all over. But just to put a bow on this one, I think that if I was a team trading for Joel Embiid, or if I was steadfast in keeping him, what do I need to do to win in Philly? You need to take off of his plate. The MVP is over. You need innings eaters. You need soldiers that can come through, and Joel Embiid needs to be massaged. He needs to go on the Kawhi Leonard plan of even if technically I can play tonight, Like, we are just gonna massage this thing. So I'm playing 50 games a season, F the awards, and then I am going to be very aggressive with it. But you got to have somebody else. Maybe Paul George. I would like somebody a little bit bigger, like Pascal Siakam. There's 5 reasons why it's not a good fit, but somebody to carry the water. So Joel is his gas tank is relatively full when playoffs start. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, this whole like, I'm gonna run through the season, I'm gonna get the MVP, I'm gonna have all this wear and tear, and then I'm gonna be at my best in May.
Don't work with Joel.
That's
Works with
not
some
happening,
other players, but not with him. Not with him. And then also, Jay, to add to that, also the Heat do have the easiest remaining schedule. They have 13 games against teams that are currently bottom 10 in the league in defensive rating. So they got it. I think the Heat will be able to snag that 7th seed. And let me jump to the West. Let me get the West out the way here. I think the Kings will actually get that 7th seed, Jay. I know this currently, as of today, the Suns are sitting in the 7th seed. But earlier we were talking about the Suns' strength of schedule, bro. Like, they have Oklahoma, coming up. They have the Nuggets, they have the Timberwolves, they have the Clippers twice, they have the Pelicans twice, and they have the Cavs, and they have 4 back-to-backs, and they have more road games than they do home games. While the Kings, their schedules it's not as bad. They have 15 more home games left. And they're facing teams like the Blazers, the Nets, the Magic, and the Jazz. So I think chances look a lot better for the Kings than they do for the Suns. Yeah. Are you in agreement to me?
I agree as well too. The Mavericks have the same record as the Suns and almost the same record as the Kings, just as far as tied in the loss column. But the Mavs are smoking. I think that they're finally hitting their stride, and I think that the Mavs are a strong dark horse team. But needless to say, I do not think that they'll be in that play-in territory with Phoenix and Sacramento.
Okay. So you got same thing as me though. Sacramento 7th and Suns 8th.
Bro, I'm gonna give Sacramento. This hurts me to
6.
No. Mavs, like the top 6 are locked up. The question is when I don't know if as much as I'm not feeling the Suns. The question is, they're not going to fall to the 9th. So even if Sacramento lands in the 7th seed, are they going to be able to beat? Who's going to win between the Suns and the Kings in the play-in, regardless of who's 7 or 8? I'm still inclined to take Phoenix.
Yes, I'm still taking Phoenix. I'm absolutely still taking Phoenix.
In a play-in game?
In a playing game, I'm absolutely still taking Phoenix. But throughout this and finishing the regular season, I'm taking the Sacramento Kings. To be honest,
I agree.
But in a 1-game playing situation,
But that's what it is, though. So what's Tom? Explain the question to me in more detail, then, because you're right. The Kings are going to pass up the Suns, and then they're going to have to play in the play-in, which I still expect Phoenix to win.
I mean, no. The question is strictly who's most likely to get that 7th seed, and I think
I'm gonna still say Phoenix then.
Okay, yeah, It's that. Whoa. Okay, all right. I hear what you're saying. You're saying
catching up.
You're saying ultimately.
Ultimately,
okay.
the Suns are going to get it because they're going to beat them in a playing game.
Okay, all right, agreed. I was saying, like, playing wise, you know what I'm saying. Prior to the playing game, I think the Kings are going to finish the season as the 7th seed. But I totally agree with you. Come a playing situation, Kevin Durant not going out like sucker.
Now here's the question.
He ain't going out like that.
Here's the question for all the nuts. This is where it gets juicy. Who's going to get the 8th seed?
I think the Suns, to be honest with you. And trust me, my Lakers.
No. I'm talking about after the play-in and the Suns beat the Kings and they get the 7th seed, officially in the playoffs. And now there's the play-in between the Lakers and the Warriors, and then whoever wins that is going to have to play the Kings for the 8th seed.
Oh, okay.
Who's coming out of that? Again,
boy, I want to say my Lakers, but knowing the fact that Anthony Davis 0-10 against Sabonis, that don't put us in a very good predicament. Because
wait, you just putting them past the Warriors like that?
Come on, gang.
This is another show, bro.
This is another show. There's another show. But yes, I'm putting them past the. In my opinion, they're better than the Warriors. They just have the same. I talked about this last year. Like the Warriors, their weakness is the big man. Our strong suit is the big man. So it's going to be hard to guard that.
And we've already seen it before. So you know, in the play-in. But there's some new blood.
It could go both ways, though. It could go both ways.
There's some new blood with the Warriors. I really like what Kuminga and Trace Jackson Davis are bringing. Even Podziemski, that he gets in the mud. I like that white boy. He gets in the mud. So, but oh, man, who would ultimately land? God, I do not like the Kings at all.
I don't. Yeah, I would really prefer not to play the Kings. I ain't gonna lie.
And let me go off on a 20-second tangent. When I called Domantas Sabonis the third worst contract in the league, you could go pound me for Jordan Poole. You could go pound me for whoever else you want to put on that list that I didn't. But Sabonis has an artificial ceiling. You're paying him $40+ million a year. He can't shoot threes. He shrivels up at the nail, and he will not go right to save his life. So even though he's a top-tier passer, he has a relentless motor. And he's lock solid when he goes left, like he's a rock. Mm-hmm. That's three reasons defenses, NBA playoff defenses, are like salivating, licking their chops. I cannot get down with the Kings and not paying for the Sabonis $40 million to be 1A, 1B, whatever you want to classify him as.
I ain't gonna lie, Jay. Maybe you, as a Warriors fan, with a great coach like Steve Kerr, you're salivating at the mouth. I'm not salivating at the mouth for the Kings, bro. Because, bro, like, I don't think. I think that everything you said is right, but like, and I know this may sound crazy because Darvin Ham is he's really the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, but like, I don't think he knows that. Like, I really don't think he knows what you just said, because like he's AD's 0-10 against them, and like the last couple of games has been to fault of Darvin Ham. Because if that's the case, let's run some defensive schemes to put Sabonis in the same situation that the Warriors put him in last year in the playoffs. Yeah. But are we just like not capable of doing that? Like, you know, I just genuinely think it doesn't cross Darvin Ham's mind. Like, he's just like, all right, tip ball, Anthony Davis, just play defense on Sabonis, you know. But it's so much deeper than that. So
to Steve Kerr's credit, Draymond Green is out there the one executing it, improvising, like challenging Sabonis's pride. And you know, it looks great when it works against somebody like Sabonis. It looks bad when you guys try to outthink the room against Jaylen Brown, come out here and give him 5 open 3-pointers to start the game.
That was crazy.
That was crazy. I'm just saying,
just left him open.
If you go talk about it, you got to talk about all of it, right? You can't just say it worked when we did it against Sabonis, you know.
All right, Jay. All right. Well, which team is most likely to suffer more because of their injuries to their respective players? The Kings, recently, Kevin Huerter went out with a dislocated shoulder, and he is out indefinitely. Mm-hmm. Or the Pelicans, who they're losing Brandon Ingram for 2 weeks with a knee injury.
I mean, Pels for sure. They've been playing on fire lately. And just Kevin Huerter's had he's had a rough patch. He's, you know, been a little bit more volatile. He's a nice movement shooter, but no. The Pelicans have the talent to upset somebody, to put a dent in the Western Conference playoffs, and Ingram is a vital part of that, bro. He's vital. So I think this is an easy question, hands down.
Damn, Jay. This is a great episode for the listeners, because here's another disagreement. I got the Kings. I think that Kevin Huerter was going to hurt them more. And the reason why is because feel like the Kings offense is so predicated on DHOs. And for people out there that don't know what DHO is, it's a simple dribble handoff. And they always do that dribble handoff with Kevin Huerter. And like how you said, he comes off movement and just clack, shoots that thing off the DHOs. Or all they do all day is set a whole bunch of down screens for Kevin Huerter, and he comes off it, catches, shoot, and just clap that thing. And I feel like that's a huge part of the Kings offense. And then for like the same vein, saying that the Kings will suffer more, I think that, bro, the way Zion's been playing, bro, if people haven't gone and watched Zion as of late, after this episode, go watch Zion. Go watch Zion. He has been keeping this team afloat. And yes, Brandon Ingram has been huge for them. But the Pelicans also have depth. Like the Pelicans also have depth and sneaky depth. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like you take BI out, you can put Trey Murphy in, Herb Jones in, Najee Marshall in. So I think that the options for them, I wouldn't say are endless, but they have more options that the Kings have, and the Kings are just going to miss a huge part of their offense with no DHOs with Kevin Huerter, no down screens with Kevin Huerter. So I think the Kings are going to suffer more, Jay. I ain't going to lie.
Yeah, no, agree to disagree. But again, we'll see. You're right. The Pels have, I guess when I look at it in totality, short-term injury versus what can the Pels do in the long term, they have no chance to upset somebody and make some noise in the playoffs without Brandon Ingram firing on all cylinders. And as important as movement shooting is and just having a sniper back there for the Kings, just from a rotation standpoint and a closing five standpoint, I think that they can fare better without Kevin Huerter than the and it's all again relative to expectations, because they're just, my expectations are just considerably lower for the Kings than they are the Pels. So
all right, Jay, I respect that, but I respect it. Well, my dog, I think this is a good place for us to go ahead and wrap it up. This was a damn good episode, Jay. I said this last week when we finished the episode, and I'll say it again. I really love these conversations. I feel like we deep dive into the league as a whole. And me personally, like when I go through and edit this thing, I'm like, man, like this would be a dope ass podcast to listen to.
yeah.
So for the people out there, man, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys had a great
Feedback.
time.
Give us feedback.
Yes,
Give
yes,
us feedback, please.
Please give us feedback. Give us feedback. Negative, positive. It's all positive to us. So we appreciate that. Jay, you have any last words to say before we get on out of here?
Nah, I just I like where we're going. Get some more analytics, some more cleaning the glass, some more basketball reference, some more highlights, some more. I think that this playoffs is about to be a grind. I think that it's so wide open, and I'm just so excited to just break stuff down and chop it up with you, because there's a lot of meat on the bone, and we finna have fun.
There is a lot. And real quick, just want to say this because I was thinking about this earlier when I was building out the episode. Jay, this year's plan is going to be freaking insane in the West. Okay. We have LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Stephen Curry, Clay, Draymond, Kevin Durant, Booker. I'm not even going to count Bradley Beal in there. And then we have Fox and Sabonis. Dude, that's if you count Bradley Beal, that's 10 players that are just like transcending talents, and they're going to be in the play-in fighting for their life. Yo, if I give somebody one advice besides go invest in EV stocks, it would be make sure you're watching this play-in in the West, because it's going to be berserk, Jay. Great basketball at its finest. But for the family out there, man, appreciate you guys staying tuned. Whether you on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, we love and support all you guys. Appreciate any support you guys can give us. Always smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, leave us comments down below. Let us know whether you agree or disagree on whatever we got into. Give us some feedback. But for now, Jay, I think I'm gonna go enjoy this nice Saturday. Get ready to edit this episode, Jay, and then have this out. And April 16th. That's when playing starts, Jay, and then April 20th. That's when a real bump starts, Jay. That's when we're playing. So we almost there, baby. For the people out there, appreciate you guys. For now, we out of here, y'all. Peace.